Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE SmackDown episode 1067 and 205 Live episode 164. But first, I have a couple of huge recommendations for y'all. I watched pretty much the last week. I've been watching a lot of Apple TV Plus, which I have mentioned the last couple of episodes. Yep, I'm going to ignore that person. Report and block. A Google Hangouts notification, and it was definitely a spam robot of the illicit variety. Illicit? Yeah, explicit? I'm not sure. Anyway, so I finished watching a couple of shows. In the last episode I talked about having started watching Dickinson, and I finished watching it. One of the highlights for me, well, the whole show was great, but we also had Henry Thoreau played by John Mulaney. John Mulaney, and that was really, really, really great. I think that was like in episode 6 or 4 or 5. It was in one of the episodes, and they also appeared later on, but not in as prominent of a role. It was the same role, but it wasn't as prominent in that episode. But anyway, so Dickinson is great. I also watched For All Mankind, and I loved it. This show is so cool. It's an alternate history of NASA. So the Soviets get to the moon first, and so the Apollo mission, they pull out all the stops to one up them, and then the Soviets get a woman to the moon first, and so the United States are, oh, we have to do that now, and then they find water on the moon way back in the 70s, since we didn't have for sure evidence of there being water until, like in the last 10 years, I think. It had been speculated, but we weren't focused on that. United States wasn't focused on that with the Apollo missions and whatnot. But in this alternate history there were. Anyway, I really liked it. I read a review I don't know why I looked up. I need to not do this ever. Anyway, but it was a review, and they didn't like it, and they thought it was boring, and they thought it was nothing happened. That was like playing it safe and all that kind of stuff. And I don't agree with that at all. I thought it was really good. I was really invested in a lot of the characters and a lot of the events, storylines, and then I was also like offended by some of the stuff that was happening, which is I suspect was the intent of those events happening. And it made me feel all kinds of different things. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I really hope that there's another season of it. But for now, I am done with Apple TV Plus. I still have the subscription for a few more days, but there's nothing else on it right now that I want to watch as much as all these other shows. So overall, as I would rank them, I would put For All Mankind as my favorite show, followed by Dickinson. Followed by Dickinson. Third place, I'd probably put Servant. Fourth place, The Morning Show, and then those are the only 4 that I watched the entire series of. I don't think it's fair to rate any of the other ones that I tried but didn't stick around for watching, which would be C and Truth Be Told. I only watched a little bit of either of those, but I wasn't really getting into them, so there you go. I'd really recommend all 4 of those other ones. The Morning Show, it is very good, but I did not like. I did not feel it's well made, but I did not feel good watching it really at any point throughout that I can remember. I don't have any like happy memories of watching it necessarily, except there's some like cathartic cathartic events that happen and moments and all of that. And there's some laughs and all that. But overall, the subject matter and just how crappy a lot of the people are on the show, like the characters are, the actors were great. I did not feel good watching the show. So that's one main reason, but that might be exactly what you're in the mood to watch. And if so, that's perfect, I think. But the ranking for me of those four is, Dickinson, if I was rating just like how much fun I had watching it, Dickinson is the top one. But anyway. All right. So, that brings us to SmackDown. I'm recording this on the following, Monday. So, Monday Night Raw is happening just a few minutes. I keep ending up doing this, putting it off to the last minute. 2 weeks ago, I recorded the SmackDown episode after I already watched Raw, but here we go. I named this episode Fetish Boy because Roman calls King Corbin some type of fetish boy because he's obsessed with dog food. And he's what's the word? He's an enabler. He's an enabler of King Corbin's dog food fetish because he challenges him and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode to a loser eats dog food match in the main event. Okay, so up next we had a fatal 4-way tag team match to determine who would be the opponents for the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at Samurai Showdown. Super Samurai Showdown 3. Super Showdown 3 in just a few weeks. Like 4 weeks. I don't know. It's after TakeOver Portland. At some point after TakeOver Portland. But anyway, they had this match there's some good stuff throughout this match. The Miz and Morrison won. They fought, it was Revival versus Heavy Machinery versus Lucha House Party minus Kalisto and Miz and Morrison. They won via a skull crushing finale and Starship Pain combination to Scott Dawson. So that'll be a cool match. I had hoped that this match was going to happen at the Royal Rumble, but it was such a long night anyway. I think it would have been like somewhat not memorable if that was. Now this is like, I mean, at the time, at this time, this is the only match that has been announced for Super Showdown, but I don't see any other matches being made that I'd be more excited for than this one. Up next, we had Mandy backstage thanking Otis for his help in the Royal Rumble. Otis is really nervous, and he finally works up the courage to ask Mandy out on a date next Friday. And she says, I've got plans next Friday. And I thought, she has plans every Friday. They're on SmackDown. They all have plans on Friday. But she said, I'm free in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks is Valentine's Day. So that's going to be something special. The only issue I have with that, though, is that we're not... What are they going to do next week? We'll just have to have no Otis or Mandy on next week's episode, I guess. I don't know. That reminds me, the biggest problem... If there is a problem with this episode, is that there was a short video, but it was like a replay of something that was online from last Sunday or shortly after that of Daniel Bryan. And that's all the Daniel Bryan we got in this episode. And we also did not get any Firefly Funhouse, no Bray Wyatt, no Fiend, none of that. And I thought that really hurt this episode. But made up for that a little bit with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross fighting Mandy and Sonya. And Alexa won that match via a Twisted Bliss. So at least we got some Bliss Cross applesauce action there. And then we had an Intercontinental Championship match. Braun Strowman finally got an Intercontinental Championship match against Shinsuke Nakamura, and he won that match via power slam, and he is the new Intercontinental Champion. And then Elias interrupts an interview of Sami Zayn, who's very upset about Shinsuke losing. And he sends Cesaro out to stop Elias from singing and being disrespectful and all that. But Elias fights him off. Then Chad Gable attacks Sheamus during his entrance, and then they have a match, which Sheamus wins via the Brogue Kick once again, because Sheamus is the best. Then Bayley comes out with the best promo I've seen from her, like, ever. Like, this is really good. She's really, like, being arrogant, not really even arrogant, like confident and a little bit arrogant. It's like, I'm really that damn good and that kind of thing. And then she calls out Charlotte, says, we all know you're gonna challenge me, so come on out here, Charlotte. But instead, Naomi's music hits, and then a being with a light up shiny ball of a head comes out and dances, and it's Naomi. Of course it's Naomi. That would be a weird thing for, like, the whole thing is somebody else pretending to be, that'd be weird. But anyway, she has a light up helmet, which I think is awesome. And now I was hoping this before this happens, but I when I realized, oh, Naomi, she won the SmackDown Championship in Orlando. She's from Florida, or she lives in Florida. It's her hometown, kind of. It's her home state. What if she wins the SmackDown Championship at WrestleMania from Bayley? That would be pretty cool. And now with the light up thing, if she has the light up title and the light up helmet thing, her entrance, like, all that would look so cool. But we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, this whole the look on Bayley's face when Naomi came out, she's this like, what the hell? It was great. So that was my favorite part of this whole episode. And then, as Naomi's still in the ring, the Usos music hits, and they make their entrance as she makes her exit, and they jam out a little bit together, and I really like that. That was my second favorite thing of this episode, is that all three of them doing the slow motion high fives, which I think is Rey Mysterio's. I think he started doing that first. But anyway, that was great. I like that. But then Roman Reigns comes out, and that's all right. And they have a match against who I called the Kingdom in my notes. King Corbin and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Riggler. Rolf Riggler. Robert Roode. We have this 6-man tag team match, which the Bloodline wins. And then they... not all three. Okay, it was loser eats dog food, but Dolph. Okay. Now I'm realizing Dolph and Robert, they got out of there. They left. They were nowhere to be seen. They weren't trying to save Dolph Ziggler from this fate of having dog food dumped all over him into his mouth and all that. They were out of there. They lost too. But Roman did pin Baron Corbin directly, so I guess the one who gets pinned is the only one who has to eat dog food. But yeah, they handcuff him, get him attached to the pole and all that, and dump dog food all over him. But the thing is, I think I brought this up when it happened in reverse. Roman Reigns got dog food all over him also. He's going to be smelling just as much like dog food for the next week or month. Maybe a little bit less. It might go away. He didn't get all over his head and his face. But Baron Corbin, he doesn't have hair, so it's not going to be as much of a problem for him. So, I don't know. It is pretty humiliating. And his little fling, Roman's little fling with the spoon, that was great. So I did enjoy that. But maybe that's the last time. Maybe that doesn't happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. I don't know. It probably will. There's going to be Next person gets made, like, they'll have a whole, like, swimming pool full of it, and they'll, like, power bomb them into the dog food. I don't know. It's kind of a waste of dog food. And it's cruel to the dog. If you are going to if you do reuse that dog food, then it's just cruel to give that food to the dog, because it's been sullied by being, like, mixed in with the sweat and other grossness of a professional wrestler. Either one of them, they've been sweating and running around, like, having that mixed in with the dog food. No, it's got to be thrown away, and therefore is a waste. But I guess it's slightly better than, like, real food, like human. It's not. Not to say dogs don't deserve, like, that they don't eat real food. Dogs eat food, but most dog food humans can't eat, or don't get the nutrition that humans eat. So it's slightly better, but not, like, good. Slightly better than wasting real food. And there I said real food. Human grade food, I guess. But anyhow, onwards to 205 Live. We had 3 matches on here. First up, Joaquin Wilde versus Raul Mendoza. There's some pretty good stuff in that match, and Joaquin won via the his double foot. He launches the other person. I don't think I had seen this before. I call it the double foot thing, and I was pretty close to the real name of it, because it's called the Wild Thing. So there you go. And it's probably spelled with an E, because his last name is spelled with an E. But yeah, he vaults them up with his feet and then kicks them with those very same feet. Not a different set of feet. Those very same feet that he just vaulted them up with. Then we had the Brian Kendrick versus Danny Burch. Danny Burch wins via disqualification when Daivari attacks Danny Burch, but Oney Lorcan makes his return, and he helps fight them off, and I'm very happy. I can start wearing my Oney Rules shirt again. He hasn't been around since October. That was the last time I wore his shirt at a show. I think I wore it to the Madison Square Garden shows. And maybe it was I can't remember if he was actually on the show that night, but I miss that guy. I was excited already because he's back on NXT UK, but here he is back in the USA as well. And then we had the main event of Tyler Breeze versus Angel Garza, and I didn't write down who won or anything. Did I even finish watching that match? I'm not sure. But Angel Garza, he just lost the championship, and I cannot remember what happened in this match at all, except there's some good they're both very handsome gentlemen. They're very handsome gentlemen. I do remember enjoying watching this, but I don't remember who won. This is like I watched it as it aired, so it was almost 72 hours ago. But anyway, it was a pretty good episode 205 Live. The episode of SmackDown, it not super memorable. I mean, there's those memorable images of Bayley being flabbergasted by Naomi, and of the bloodlines covering King Corbin and dog food. But other than that, I don't think there's a lot that I'm gonna remember a few episodes from now. We'll see. I think the success of this episode will be determined by which nickname Baron Corbin is referred to as first by the audience. If the next of these two, if we ever hear these two nicknames again, if it's STD, Super Tough Dude, or Fetish Boy, if we hear chants of either of those, then we'll determine if this episode was a success. So there you go. Nothing else I wanted to talk about. Raw is starting in just about a half hour from right now. So I think I'll wrap this up. Go watch For All Mankind and Dickinson. They're both great. And let me know what you thought about those and these episodes of SmackDown and 205 Live by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.